Welcome to Global Village today. We have two great guests. We have Vince Hale, principal of the Bassano School, and Brandon, who is the Habitat Coordinator in southeast of Alberta. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandon, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my main base of operations is out of the Chamber of Commerce in Brooks. I'm the administrative assistant there. I'm also the communications specialist for the Newell Regional Tourism Association. And today I'm here to speak towards the Habitat for Humanity Southern Alberta Brooks chapter.
Are you from within Alberta or you moved from somewhere else then?
I'm originally from Ontario. I've been living in Alberta now for almost 9 years.
So you are qualified to be Albertan then?
Some would argue that.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Vince.
Well, I've only been here in Alberta for a year and, well, almost 2 years, I guess. 2 years in August. Came from Saskatchewan before this, and but originally from New Brunswick.
Oh, okay. So you just been here a year.
Just over a year here to Bassano. So I'm not an Albertan yet.
Well, that's true. You still have 3 more years to go
Yeah.
before you qualified. You want to tell us a little bit about Habitat?
Habitat for Humanity is kind of a way of giving people in need not a helping hand, but a hand up. We're able to assist in supplying basic needs for housing as far as building a suitable habitat for families in need. It's quite a simple application process, and there's 3 points that we touch on in order to qualify to partner with Habitat as a family. First one, of course, is the need. We have to assess, is that need great enough that we're going to need to step in and assist these families in getting a place to live. We look at their ability to pay for their mortgage on the house and their willingness to partner with Habitat for Humanity. We do have certain sweat equity requirements, so we do require a family to do 500 sweat equity hours before they can receive the keys to their house.
So would they 500 hours for the whole family or individual?
It depends on the dynamic of the family. If you have a 2-parent household with your children, you're actually only required to do 300 of those hours, and the rest of that can be given out to family and friends to help assist. If it's the reverse situation where you're dealing with a single parent household, then the hours are reversed. They only have to do 200 hours and can get family and friends to do an additional 300.
Wow. So is it in Brooks only or also the whole county of Newell?
It is within the county of Newell, but we do require the sweat equity hours to be performed within our chapter's region. So if we're working in Brooks, we wouldn't be able to assist in Medicine Hat with their sweat equity hours.
But the individual can have a volunteer hours from Bassano or
As long as it's within our
within the
regions.
Newell
Yes.
region. Okay. No, that's good to know. Vince, you want to tell us the history of Bassano School, and is it grade from grade what to grade what?
Well, we are kindergarten to grade 12.
Okay.
And right now we have about 323 students. We have 73 of those students from Siksika First Nation.
Okay.
And that arrangement has probably been going on for about 40 plus years. Originally, like 40 some years ago, there may have been maybe 3 or 4 students that came. There's been a time when there was more than 73. Apparently there was as many as 90 some here at one time.
Wow.
But things have changed because of the schooling situation in Siksika, and so as a result they have restricted in terms of how many people can actually come to our school, and so we get 73, and we have a 3-year agreement with them. We typically get a lot of mostly from farming and ranching backgrounds for our school. There's with the Synovus that's going on, like there's Synovus, we've got Gentherm that's also in town as well too, and so it's attracted a number of people to work in the area, and as a result we have their students as well.
So the cap from Siksika is 37 or 73?
Yeah, 73.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So not more than 73.
Not more than 73. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's agreement for what, in 3 years?
It's a 3-year. We're now going into the 3rd year again. Prior to this, they've always had year-to-year agreements, but 2 years ago they signed a 3-year agreement, and so that's in place every 3 years now.
Oh, that's good. I think that's 3 years will be more effective than every year renewal.
It is.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
yeah, because that will require all the time renewal. So 3
Yeah.
years at least will have less headache. Every 3 years will
Exactly.
be easier. Yeah. Okay. How would someone be qualified, for example, for Habitat for Humanity? Would they be qualified based on their income and their ability to pay the mortgage? Do they have to pay a deposit or
Well, the way the way the process works, it is a 0 down payment, a 0% interest on the mortgage, and it never goes above 25% of your household income. The reason for that is to make sure that we can maintain within the 30% for housing. As far as family incomes go, you typically want to remain within 30% of your household income to ensure that you can continue to afford your housing. So we're able to hold the mortgages ourselves, and we can ensure by doing that that those rates never increase. As far as partnering with a family, we do look at the needs. So we have to do a home inspection of your current dwelling. We see a lot of the times where parents are sharing rooms with their children because they just simply don't have enough bedrooms for everybody in the house. On top of that, we also look at their willingness to partner. So as long as they're able to commit to the 500 sweat equity hours, they're able to commit to being able to maintain a 25% household income mortgage, and we see the need, then we will qualify you for a Habitat.
and what will happen if they choose to move out tomorrow, or what will happen if they choose to go somewhere else?
It depends on the length of time that they've been in the dwelling. Of course, we would request a minimum of 5 years within the dwelling before vacating or selling it back. Habitat for Humanity always requests first right of refusal to purchase the dwelling back,
Habitat.
back into the Habitat, in which case we will refurbish it and get it back out for resale within the same terms. We have recently just partnered with a single parent family, and this mother and 2 children, for what would normally take a 1 to 2 year process to complete the sweat equity hours and everything else involved. Of course, there's usually a dwelling build within that time, and we had this one available. This family has nearly completed all 500 sweat equity hours within a record-breaking 3 months.
Wow. And where are they going to volunteer? For example, food bank and these areas?
Habitat for Humanity will essentially accept any community involvement as a sweat equity hour. Myself, with our Brooks Trade Show, we had the family come in with a bunch of their friends, and they knocked off 187 sweat equity hours in 1 weekend alone. So basically any community involvement type activity, be it volunteering with Brooks Animal Protection Society or in the hospital or any other community involvement type activity, we're going to accept that as a sweat equity hour. It even includes things as the family's in refurbishing the house, getting it ready for themselves to move in, we're counting those hours towards sweat equity as well.
And they can bring their friends to work on their behalf, so you will add those hours also?
Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, that's a. So how would the community be able to help such noble cause?
We are, as I've mentioned, we are recently partnered with a family. So once we can get them moved into their home, we do plan on breaking ground on a new dwelling in Brooks in 2017. Typically what we look at for fundraising is, we say $250,000 per door. We do build duplexes for the most part, so we're looking at a total of about $500,000 that we need to raise. So we are looking for donations and sponsorships. Anybody who's willing to help out specifically with the build, anybody who has skills and things that could be used towards sweat equity. Habitat for Humanity also maintains businesses called the Habitat Restore, where it is a retail outlet. You can donate and you can purchase gently used items for your own houses or for your own purposes, and it all goes to help the individual chapters.
Wow. Mr. Vince, do you have any other programs within the school?
Yeah, we got quite a few different programs that are going on in the school. I mean, starting off with the video program. That's, we're here now in the studio right now. That was Grassland School Division. We applied for a grant basically from their capital monies or capital projects to actually refurbish this facility here so that we can have a dedicated media room basically. And so what's happened, we have a lot of really good equipment. We have 3 big cameras that we use on a regular basis, of course lots of lighting that we use, and we've got a TriCaster now where we can actually do our own broadcasting as well and stream them out into YouTube or whatever if we wanted to do programs, and which we'll start doing that fairly soon. As once this studio is actually finished completely, we'll get the kids in here and actually they'll set up the tables and booths, and we'll broadcast little events and that for them as well, so they get some experience with using this. In addition to that, our students are also working with the Brooks Bandits as well, and that's nice because they get to work on the cameras there and do the actual mixing on the TriCasters there for the big jumbotron that they had for the hockey games. And so it's great experience for them as well too. So that, and some of the students are actually working here right now for this event as well too. So in addition to that, we have a very strong sport program, and our students are competing all over for things as well too, different areas in volleyball and basketball, and do well on track and field. We also have just down the hallway as well, we have a art room which has a full kiln as well, and so kids can do pottery as well too. So art is a big piece here for us. Music as well. We do a lot with music. We've taken kids to provincials a couple times, and they performed very well. So there's lots of. We try to. One of the things here, because we're in a rural scenario and situation, it's really important that we try to provide as many offerings as possible for students to be able to get them here, instead of thinking that the only place they can go is go to the city and go to a bigger school or whatever. We need them to stay here in the community. So we also offer the RAP program, which is the work experience. We also offer the Green Certificate, which they get to work with somebody in cattle industry, horse or sheep or whatever, so they can do that kind of stuff. So we try to appeal to a broad spectrum of kids as well. Then we bring the CTS trailer in, and so we have that for half a year, and we do welding and we do woodwork and small mechanics as well in that program as well too. So they have that for half a year as well.
Wow! Not to mention also they did very well. Good job with the rodeo last year.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, they did.
We also have one other program. We have this Bronco Bob or Bill or whatever they call them, but we have a simulator that is actually is used in a lot of hospitals or for training as well. So that was donated to the school by Synovus. It's an $80,000 simulator, and
wow.
So it's sitting down the hallway as well. So we now have partnered up with Medicine Hat College for the healthcare aid program, and so they'll be using that simulator as part of their training initiatives as well too. So that's been handy.
No, that's great, and I saw that one. I think last time when I was here, it's a great piece of thing. I understand also the Bassano School also compete Medicine Hat College. You want to share with us the success story?
Yeah, we took 5 students down to the recent Alberta Skills, and 4 of the students were in the video TV production, and 1 was in welding, and all 5 of the students came back with medals, which we were very pleased with. Our welding came back with gold, and then we had on our video and TV, they had silver and bronze. We were only 1 point off from getting the gold on the video, so
Wow.
felt really good about that.
Wow. So you get silver then.
We got silver on that. Yeah, next year we'll get gold.
Oh, that's great. Silver, gold, as long as they win something, that shows that appreciation for. So are they going to be heading to the?
Well, they would have. They would have gone up to Edmonton, but the Fort McMurray fires happened, and so they canceled the Alberta Skills for the province, and they did a lottery draw. And so names were put into a lottery, and our gold medalist winner was the only one that they would put in the lottery for the welding. He came in 4th out of the province for welding. So if he'd been selected as the first one or two, he would have been going to New Brunswick for the Canadian championship. But anyways, we next year will hopefully there'd be no fires in Fort Mac and get a chance to compete.
So they canceled the whole thing this year then.
They did. The whole thing was canceled. And then just I understand that because
Yeah.
they brought so many people down from north and
Yeah, to
needed to-
Edmonton and all
yeah.
that, and there was some emergency situation
Yeah,
from
for sure.
Fort Mac. Yeah, so that's yeah. Just to add that to Brandon, Brooks being a diverse population, and you came from Ontario, which has a lot diverse population also. What do you think the advantage of a diverse population or diverse community such as Brooks or County of New in the 21st century economic development?
It's certainly a learning experience, that's for sure. I believe Brooks has about 136 individual cultures. So it's the more people you meet, the more you tend to learn about global initiatives and what happens in certain parts of the world. It was certainly an eye-opener for me when I arrived in Brooks, and it's been a very rewarding experience at the same time. As far as the economic diversity goes, it's certainly a fantastic way to find out what other corners of the world are doing to make things work for themselves, and how can we learn from that and incorporate it into our own area, our own region, and try to improve upon or expand on those and create opportunities for everybody, regardless of where they may have come from in the world.
Oh, that's good. You came from a town just far from Toronto, 2 hours?
I came from a small town in Muskoka, Ontario called Gravenhurst, and when I lived there, it was about 14,000 people.
Wow.
I
Same
believe
as Brooks then.
Same as Brooks, yes. With it being a very highly tourist type area, a lot of cottagers go there. In the summer, the population tends to triple.
Wow.
It can be a very congested small town.
Oh, but do you had same diverse population similar to Brooks area?
Definitely not. No, the region that I'm from is predominantly Caucasian. But again, we're dealing with a lot of people who have been in the area for generations.
Yeah.
It's not, there isn't a huge draw for people of other ethnicities in the area. It's mostly a tourism based facility, based region. So there are tourists of other ethnic groups that do come in, but it's not anything like you would see here in Brooks.
In Brooks. Okay. No, that's very. What do you think? The same thing. The importance of you came from New Brunswick, which I believe it's a diverse state or province. What do you think the advantage of having a diverse population is in 21st century?
I think it's really critical that we embrace that. I think that's the way things are going to be in the future. I mean, it's been some years now since I've left New Brunswick, and I was in Saskatchewan for about 20-some years. I've worked primarily in Native context and First Nations world, and that's interesting because, like in Saskatchewan, we probably have. Well, they're projecting that in 2021 or 22, that probably 30% of the population will be First Nations within Saskatchewan as well. So I think that in Alberta, we don't see as many First Nations people because we have more people coming into Edmonton and Calgary and so forth as well.
Yeah.
But I think that we're trying to recognize that here in Bassano. If you come into our school, we have the flex area, and we put the flags up representing the various countries of kids that have, where they come from. So we've got kids that are here from Mexico, and primarily when we think of that, they're the Mexican Mennonites that are coming up here.
Yeah.
We've got kids from the Philippines. We've got students from Korea. We've got kids from, we recognized our Siksika with the flag there. We've got our Métis kids as well. Of course, kids from the United States that have come here as well. And I think I'm missing somebody as well. But I know that we've got a doctor that's coming here from Nigeria, and so we've got a flag that we just purchased, and when the kids show up, we'll put the flag up with them as well. And people are very comfortable. They've come here originally from their, maybe they came from the States or they came from Ireland or wherever, and they homesteaded, and there's a sense of, they've been here and their family's been here for 5 generations, and they feel that connectedness to the land.
Yeah.
And you do find that there's maybe a bit of an estrangement, almost like when more people are coming in from other countries, new Canadians, and they're feeling a little bit of how do we adapt and adjust to this? So it's a learning process, and I think at the school we have a really important role to ensure that we embrace culture. And we've been embracing culture from Siksika for over 40-some years. It's time for us now to start embracing the other cultures that are moving into Bassano and living in our communities, and recognize those as well. And so it's really an important piece that we work with.
I think that's well said. I think met with a gentleman who happened to be Caucasian, and one of the things he mentioned, he said, bunch of the immigrants coming here, they go to JBS or Lakeside and they don't pay tax. And I said, no, you get that thing wrong information. I said, no, everybody pays tax. And I said, don't listen from me, just go to Revenue Canada, click and see who's exempted from. And he came back after 1 day, 2 days, said, that was my ignorance part. He said, I'm sorry. And I said, that's a good thing for you to come back and tell me, because someone told him and he believed it.
Well, I think that's an important thing that I had a conversation with somebody just in fact about last Friday about, and let me speak about the First Nations component as well. I hear time and time again people saying, oh, those First Nations people don't pay taxes. I'm maybe a little sensitive to the topic, because my dad's Mohawk and I grew up in a reserve, and before my mom's white, of course, but so the thing about it, so I have that Native heritage component, but so anyways, people say, oh, those Native people, they don't pay taxes, and they get everything for free and everything, and it's my tax money that's going to the, that's not true.
Yeah.
The reality is not 1 cent of money that goes to First Nations people comes from people who are paying taxes. And somebody like myself who's working off reserve, I'm paying taxes just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But if you work on reserve, that's different. But the thing about it is that money that goes towards our First Nations does not come from income tax. It comes from revenues that are generated from resources. It comes from oil and gas, and from forestry, and from mining, and from the land. That's where the money goes. So they get a portion because of the treaties that were signed.
Okay.
They get a portion of that money that goes to them basically as a royalty revenue for First Nations because of the treaties. So it's not income tax money. It comes directly from resources.
Well, that's also eye-opener for myself, because that's first. I thought the same thing with what you, and that's what you call learning process, and life is learning. And thank you. That's something that I have learned from you today. Did you know that before?
I did, actually.
Okay, no, that's good. So it comes from the natural resources and all that
from
stuff.
the land,
Okay, not from the income tax that people pay tax. That's okay. So that's
it comes from resources and renewable energy resources.
Okay.
That's the department that it comes from.
Yeah. All I know was because if you are off the reserve area, you pay tax. If you are there, you don't pay tax. That's the fact. Yeah. But the problem is people listen other people, their rumors. Without verifying, they will run with it, and they will tell you, this is. So they believe in as a true. until they find otherwise. So it's just the
Well, I took my son-in-law and my son yesterday because we had graduation this past weekend, and I took them. They're from, one's living up in Spruce Grove and one's living in Prince Albert. And it's interesting because we went to Brooks and we went into No Frills, and they both commented about it was a cultural experience going into No Frills because there was such a variety of people there, and it was. And I said, yeah, it's multicultural, very much so.
No, that's the value of being multicultural, learning from different culture, and that's the beauty, and that's the embracement of to embrace that culture. I think from everybody, you learn everything every day.
The amazing thing too is coming from Ontario, and I'm sure from New Brunswick as well, the day I landed in Alberta was a huge culture shock for me. We don't realize as born Canadians how different we can be from one side of the country to the next.
Well, because in New Brunswick it's bilingual. It's French English. I mean, it's so it's expected.
And in Ontario, it really depends on what part of Ontario you're in. Are you going to have a bilingual requirement, or are you going to be strictly English, strictly French? Yeah. It really depends on where you are. I mean, Ontario is a big place. There's a lot of people there.
And what would you like final note to say to our viewers in terms of volunteerism?
Keep an eye out on our website. We're always looking for volunteers for one reason or another. Definitely we're going to have a huge demand for volunteers when we come up to the build. A lot of the times we can't actually accept any volunteerism until the walls are up at least. We have to make sure we have the skilled labor for that. But any donations, sponsorships, sweat equity hours that may be filling for a family in need kind of thing. Our website, www.habitatforhumanity.com, it's going to give you all the information required. And on a side note of that as well, we also have a global program for Habitat for Humanity, a global build program, which coincidentally we call Global Village.
That's great to hear that. That's good. How would you like to have, how we encourage the parents to involve their kids in school?
In the school, I think that the important thing that we're trying to do within the community is that we're working with our mayor and council. We're trying to attract more people into Bassano. We need to keep our numbers up within our community for school. We want to continue to offer the programming that we have, and we need the numbers to be able to support that. So Bassano is a good place to live and a good place to settle into, and I see a lot of good things happening here.
And what's your final note to the students not to drop school off?
We don't really have a lot of students that are dropping out of school, and I think there
not
was
in Bassano.
In Bassano,
in
general,
the whole region, yeah.
I mean, the message that I would like to say to any student is learning isn't just restricted and limited to school. It's before school, after school, and but school is important. It's important to learn the skills that we're trying to teach here, that will prepare them into adulthood. And we just say, we want to be a school that is really relevant and connecting with students, engaging, so that students find it exciting and fun to come to school and learn. So we have to do our part and to do a better job for students to enjoy and actually be successful.
That's well said, and I think school is important, education is important, and Grassland is doing great, I think, to achieve that, and you guys doing a noble job. Thank you very much for both of you coming to Global Village, and it's glad to hear that you also have Global Village, so that's a trademark from Global Village, so we'll just give it to you, no problem. You just pay us sometime in the future. But anyway, thank you very much for coming to the program, and we hope to see you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vince, for everything that you do for the students. I think it's great to be in Bassano. I've been here many times. I'm loving the area. I might just move to Bassano very soon. There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, this is the end of Global Village program. This is your host, Ahmed Kasim.